What about now? Let me know, y'all. We back? Am I back? I don't even know how that happened. Anyway, guys, give me something in the chat if I got some audio back. Let me know, y'all. All right, cool. The Osmond says we good. All right, so listen, guys, we're gonna run it back. None of that just happened. Welcome, everybody, to Solutionary. You guys know this is where we come for civics, politics, pop culture, all of those other different things. And I want to appreciate you all for tapping in. We do this every Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate you all. Tour last weekend, Phoenix. Weekend before that, Chicago. Been having amazing classes around the country. And it's 100%, we love it. Huge shouts to Pot of Gold Auctions. Huge shouts to National Shooting Sports Foundations for making this October tour happen. NSSF has stepped up tremendously. I want to make sure that everybody shoots over to gunvote.org. The reason for that, if you guys see that on a lot of the content that we're putting out lately, it has the gun vote on the back of it. Okay, and NSSF has put together a website where you can see what politicians and things like that are in alignment with the Second Amendment. So we want to make sure that we are supporting those organizations and folks that are supporting us. Make sure you shoot over the gun vote. And the tour has been great, man. Phoenix this weekend, I got a little trapped in, Columbus, Ohio, right? We had the class. Pot of Gold Auctions took care of our lodging at this place that I really like. It's called the Wigwam. I made some content for you guys. I'll make sure I have it over to you. If you're just coming into the live right now, make sure you hit the like button, smash the like button, repost it. If you're watching it on youtube.com/Maj2Ray, repost it. If you're watching it on rumble.com/Maj2Ray, repost, hit that like button. We need to get all of this stuff up. Pause. All right. The tour has been great, guys. And I'm going to ask you guys throughout the chat tonight as we chopping it up. I want everybody to make sure that you're donating towards the work. We have about $7,300 more to get our November and December classes. We have agreed that that's going to be California and Texas. More than likely we'll hit Cali first because in front of the election, and then right after, depending on which way it go, man, it might get crazy and the people need to defend themselves. And this is not a political conversation as it relates to that. Both sides can get goofy if they feel like things didn't go right. And the general public needs to be able to defend themselves. So we need about $7,300 to get November and December's classes. We just added New Jersey. Let me show you the flyer, actually. I'll show y'all later. We got New Jersey. We're going to be working with Tony Simon for Second Amendment for everyone. So we really appreciate that. Pay it forward, guys. What we're asking everybody to do. All right. You guys know that we have a $100 package where you donate more than $100. You get access to all of the online classes, all of the curriculum, all that other good stuff. Right. We know that. But everybody may not have $100. So we're asking everybody, when you see this, if you support the work, donate $20. GiveSingo.com/Solutionary. It's right under me right there. At the end of this live, yes, you can. Brandy just said, can you sponsor people for a class? The best way to sponsor people for a class is just make that donation, $50, $20, whatever your number is, and say, hey, in the donor comment, say, hey, Maj, I wanted to sponsor somebody in such and such and such, right? Just make it in the donor comment. It's very important that you do that because we give other people shout outs too when we do it that way. So yes, you can sponsor everybody else. The best way for me to know that because I get the email as soon as we see that. But anyway, guys, GiveSingo.com/Solutionary. We're going to get right into it. And lastly, guys, help with the super chats if you choose. You want to promote a business, you want to promote something, sell something, you want to promote somebody doing some good work around the country, put their name and website or whatever in the super chat so they can get a shout. We try to get 10 folks at the $20 level for every episode of Solutionary. And that's the same today. But again, we're going to try to get 1,000 people this week to donate at the $20 level. Yes, that's $20,000. I'll go back into that in a minute. But I want to talk about something real quick today, guys. I don't want to take too long with short attention spans and all of that, right? I want to tell you all about how the media is like the most obviously blatantly lying. When I was in Ohio this morning, my flight was canceled last night. So I stayed in Ohio. And I had some breakfast this morning, and I was looking at if you guys see it, it's on my Instagram page, Big Daddy 2Ray. Follow me there, Maj2Ray 999, talking about how the media plays this game. And I'll be damned, as soon as I start having that conversation, this happens. We got the Washington Post reporting that there are now armed militiamen hunting FEMA workers. I want to say that again. I want to say that one more time. The Washington Post is now reporting, allegedly, right? They're doing something slick. And I'm going to read the article for y'all real quick. They're reporting that armed militias are hunting FEMA workers. Other news outlets ran with the story, just ran with it. Even in the article that we're about to read right now, they even say that they have unconfirmed reports of this thing even ever happening. And I want to talk about the media, how slick, deceptive, manipulative, and just wild media becomes. And this is all tied into the election. This is all tied into a bunch of things, and we're going to go into that tonight. Again, come in, guys, hit the like button, hit the likes up. Let's get the likes up. Let's read this real quick, guys. It's like baffling to me that this even works on people. It's baffling. Let's check it out. How reported threats in North Carolina trace to Trump-fueled misinformation. So that's the headline. So we know off top that this is not going to be an objective, journalistic, integrity-based approach. We know that. How reported threats in North Carolina trace to Trump-fueled misinformation. It is always ironic to me that when Trump seems to, and again, I'm a libertarian, so we're going to call it right up the middle. Okay. But it seems to me every time Trump says fake news or says you guys are lying, then the media tries to co-opt that and says, oh, he's spreading misinformation since 2016. But anyway, let's read it. Americans are experiencing the real world consequences of throwing conspiracy theories into a tense situation again. I'll be wanting to just read straight through a lot of this stuff to y'all, but then I hear these just words like, allegedly, the term conspiracy theory was created by the CIA to debunk or make the people that were critical thinkers look crazy. Okay. And so when the Washington Post says this, I want you to put your spidey senses should be tingling. Let's read a little bit more. So first they used an old picture. For weeks, misinformation about the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Hurricane Helene response has spread far and wide on social media platforms, with more than a helpful nudge from Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and the relaxed moderation policies of Musk's platform X. Now, let's be very clear, y'all. We did something on this. We trying to attack censorship. All of the things that we talk about on Solutionary Monday through Fridays at 6 p.m., these things tie in together because these weirdos got the same play. So remember last week we were talking about they're trying to come at social media platforms, especially X, since Elon bought it. And this is not Elon hero worship. This is just us doing the objective job that journalists are supposed to do. Okay? So relaxed moderation policies of Musk's platform X. We need to tighten up the censorship is what they're saying there. The real consequences of that have begun to show. The Washington Post reported late Sunday that federal emergency responders were ordered evacuated from Rutherford County, North Carolina on Saturday due to a reported threat from a militia. An official with the U.S. Forest Service and the National Guard, quote, has come across 2 trucks of armed militia saying they were out hunting FEMA. Okay, it's very clear to me when I see propaganda. It's very clear. It's no doubt about it. It's like not even a complication for me. But there are some of us that still believe that the news is telling you the truths. Okay? And for those folks, it's not a judgment negatively towards you. It's just you're here on Solutionary. We're going to walk you through this thing, especially today. Okay? So when you hear somebody saying to National Guard folks, hey, we out here, we armed, we here hunting you. We out here hunting FEMA. So you mean to tell me these so-called militia rolled down on y'all and said, hey, and communicated that they were about to commit a homicide on FEMA folks. And none of the National Guard folks got any names, didn't stop anybody, none of that. So that's your first red flag. Earlier in the day, a resident threatened FEMA personnel in a trailer in the same county, according to 2 volunteers with Cajun Navy, a relief organization. Former Forest Service official Reva Duncan also said people have been harassing federal employees who were delivering aid to the area, saying they didn't want the help. Okay, let's stop right there. If people are frustrated with your horrible damn response, your trash response, and they're communicating that to you, that is not a threat. Even if they flip you off, curse at you, but you know what they do? Media runs with that. They hear a report, they spin it up, they add more onto it, and they just add further fake ass misinformation. Then say to you, oh, you're the misinformation person. You're the misinformation person. This is a classic narcissistic tactic. What lie and then call you the same thing that they actually doing. Ashe County, North Carolina Sheriff Phil Howell cited threats made against FEMA employees in nearby counties, though not in his. So he ain't see them. He said the officials had, quote, paused their process as they are assessing the threats. Meaning this cat. Separately, Rep. Chuck Edwards of Republican North Carolina told MSNBC on Sunday that we had 2 counties where folks reported different militia groups attacking and threatening FEMA. Okay, so get the FEMA employees out there and let them do what they got to do. But magically, there's no employee. And, I seen somebody who's seen somebody. The origin of the threats and how serious they have been isn't yet known. The North Carolina National Guard has reportedly said it is no actual reports of encountering militia, though authorities in the state arrested an individual Saturday and charged him in connection with alleged threats made against FEMA. But it's clear that the situation has led to heightened tensions and that it has now delayed recovery efforts. So the heightened tensions has delayed recovery efforts, not the trash level of management of the situation by FEMA, not the fact that Harris Biden administration pull up and be like, yeah, we got $750 for y'all and y'all have to apply for it. And if you're approved, it's a 10-day waiting period for you to get $750. Never mind that. So it can't be that the people are just frustrated, but it's not FEMA's mishandling of the funds, of the situation. It can't be them. It's these 2 truckloads of alleged North Carolina militia motherfuckers that none of the FEMA employees have actually saw, can ID, no license plate, no tags, no nothing. But that's what's delaying the recovery efforts. See, this, boys and girls, is what we urban folk call cap. Lies. You're trying to cap my head up. But let's read some more, because I know there might be some solutionaries that still want to believe in journalism, so-called journalism, propaganda. You still want to believe. I get it. I want to believe too, but I know better. And it's easy to connect that to the volatile environment that social media misinformation has created in the areas most affected by Helene and Western North Carolina. Both Musk and Trump have contributed to that. So the conversation is no longer helping the actual people that need the help and the horrible management of the scenario. It's not that. And this is the Washington Post. This is the Washington Post. So the conversation is somehow in social media land, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and I don't care if you like these guys or not, but just look at this failure of objectivity. This reeks of bias. So both Musk and Trump have contributed to that. It's their fault. It's now the second time in a month that a Trump-fueled conspiracy theory has preceded apparent threats made in the relevant area, with the last one being Trump's false claims about Haitian migrants stealing and eating pets in Springfield, Ohio. Each time, local Republican officials have sought to combat the conspiracy theories and warned of the harm that they could do. Both instances reinforce the potential danger of Trump's conspiratorial bent and willingness to deploy such misinformation and political tactics, even in tense and tragic situations. Trump unleashed a torrent of similar misinformation early in the coronavirus pandemic. This is where they fucked up. People that was masking and jabbing up don't believe none of that shit from 2020 anymore. So this is where they fucked up. They get excited. The writers get excited. They're trying to paint a picture. They really failed actors and failed writers for Hollywood. So they start getting a little creative license. And they start slipping and saying like this about 2020. Other narratives in the media have been very mums the word on. They want you to memory hole Corona, COVID, the overreach. But they brought it. This person brought it back up. And when we finish this, I want to see who this person is. Misinformation early in the coronavirus pandemic and after the 2020 election as he sought to overturn the results, the latter of which culminated in the January 6th insurrection. So let's tie this all in, y'all, just for good measure. We've now went from the people in North Carolina, Florida, Tennessee that need the help. And the conversation isn't about that. Now we're going to, it's Trump and Musk's fault. And now we're going all the way back to COVID and January 6th. This is a Herculean effort. I did not know that somebody could stretch this much without popping a muscle. Look at the stretch here. Let's read a little bit more. Most prominent among the Helene conspiracy theories has been that FEMA has blocked materials and seized property from the affected areas. Rutherford County is a focal point. I want you to listen to this part because this is interesting and where it goes and moving forward. And before I finish reading this part, I'll give you the example and where I'm going with this. Nobody's talking about all of that land in Hawaii that was burned down magically. Nobody's talking about that. Memory hole. Memory hole. They're not talking about how many people bought homes over there beforehand, bought land, so forth and so on. We're not talking about none of that. Just magically, we're not talking about it. Just like nobody's talking about the Las Vegas shooter. Just poof, just disappeared. Okay? So similarly, the new conspiracy theory that can be proven, most prominent among the Helene conspiracy theories has been that FEMA has blocked materials and seized property from affected areas. Rutherford County is a focal point of such theories, which users falsely claim that the government aimed to seize lithium deposits in Chimney Rock in Rutherford County. Now we're talking on a different level. You know who owns a lot of those and bought the rights to a lot of those lithium deposits? Maybe a month before. And you know how the crazy people say things like, oh, well, HAARP, even though the government will tell you that the weather modification system known as HAARP, HAARP, right? All of that. And I'm just saying conspiracy theory like they saying, right? I want y'all to tell me in the chat who y'all think bought that. Who y'all think bought them lithium deposits? BlackRock. Vanguard. But just like everybody was crazy in 2020 that was like, I don't know about this whole ventilation. Maybe we shouldn't be putting these people in events. And they were conspiracy theorists. Then people started dying in events. Remember that in New York where Cuomo was the governor at the time? Remember how we were like, hey, man, this might just be the flu. This might be blown out of proportion. Then you was the granny killer. And then fast forward, now they just memory hold it instead of acknowledging that you were actually accurate. Every single time, every time. Then later on, it's cool because nobody's really thinking about it or talking about it. Listen to that. Most prominent, and this is media, most effective devil in America. Telling you that you crazy if you even think about these things. And painting the people that would even discuss it as evil Trumpers. Okay? No credible sources on this the militia. Now listen, this guy, whoever this person is, this person has went through great lengths to try to discredit anybody that's down with Trump, anybody that's down with free speech and social media, anybody that's down with Elon, questioning the BlackRock connection with the lithium deposits. Maybe because Elon, and who's supporting Trump, maybe he has something engaged in that because what's Elon known for? The electric cars. Where do they get that from? The lithium deposits. Maybe. And it could not be nothing. But my point in saying this is, looks like this person has connected a lot of dots to make you discredit anything before you even start digging in it. Pause. But that's all the way off of, this has nothing to do with the title of the damn story. He or she, I'm going to look and see who it is. You went all the way there from, we heard some militiamen was attempting to discredit or threaten the FEMA people. So we now all the way to COVID, all the way to, you understand? No credible sources. National Guard never confirms. What does Donald Trump have to do with this shit? Y'all running with the story. I want to hear y'all. Give me a comment in the comment section, guys. Is this true to you all? Is it true to you all? Let's read a little bit more. Edwards last week cited the false claim at the very top of a news release seeking to debunk various conspiracy theories related to the hurricane. North Carolina State Senator Kevin Corbin also prominently cited the theory while seeking to combat misinformation. The government in neighboring Buncombe County reported last week that it was inundated with calls about FEMA purportedly rejecting donations and seizing property. Maybe they were, and people were calling saying, yo, what's up, bro? Maybe that's the reason why some of the militia was like, no, we don't want your help. We don't know what type of help you are. Maybe they see Pete Buttigieg got on I put it on one of our YouTubes a week or so ago, right? Oh, don't fly drones because it might get in the way of planes, Cessnas. What? A drone this big? Oh, you don't want my camera to see what you're doing over there. Sounds like that to me. I wasn't there. I don't know. You mean to tell me the Secretary of Department of Transportation needs to get on social media and say, hey, guys, don't fly drones because it's going to get in the way of our helicopters and planes? Come on. And again, I started this conversation by saying, I know some of you want to believe. But if you didn't learn anything from 2020, remember how they were like, yo, we think there's nanoparticles in the jab. And everybody was like, all right, come on, bro, that's too much. Google it. But again, at this point, that was 5 years ago. I want y'all to understand. They get you speeding past it from distraction to distraction and calling you crazy and then come out and say, oh, yeah, you was right. All of the sudden deaths, right? COVID and the overreach and the coronavirus technically was almost half a decade ago. You understand? But let's read some more. As far back as last week, before most recent events, a nonprofit group warned of potential militia activity related to such claims. The Institute for Strategic Dialogue connected the conspiracy theories to calls to send militias to face down FEMA for the perceived denial of aid or to shoot and or harm FEMA officials and the agency's emergency responders. To be clear, it's not just social media users promoting this underlying theory. It has also been Trump, Musk, and prominent MAGA influencers. You see what we're doing here? Most effective devil in America. Let's put that down a bit. See what we're doing here? You see what we're doing here, Solutionaries? We have to make you look like these are the people that are, they crazy. Not, you gonna believe me or your lying eyes? So now we got to group all of these people again together. To be clear, it's not just social media users. That's where they grouping y'all in. Solutionaries. It's also Trump, Musk, and prominent MAGA influencers. They haven't specifically cited the claims about the lithium deposits. Okay? But they have promoted the idea that the government is blocking and seizing things. Musk on October the 4th, yada, yada, yada. Y'all get it. But let's go over this one real quick. I want to show y'all this. We can come back to that in a second. But let me share this with y'all as y'all give me your perspective. Guys, if you're coming in the chat, hit the like button. Everybody should be supporting the like button, right? Everybody should be loving the like button right now. 100%. Let me read this one real quick. Boom. North Carolina authorities arrested armed man after threats against FEMA workers. Rutherford County Sheriff's Office confirms it made the arrest Saturday after learning of threat to Federal Emergency Management Agency employees working on Hurricane Khalif. Because we got to give them something. I got to give y'all something. I got to be objective. So they arrested this dude. So let's go. Let's read it. Maybe he was the evil dude and word started to spread and, oh man, he's scaring the hell out of the FEMA workers. Maybe, but let's read. Let's see. Federal emergency response personnel directed employees operating Saturday hit hard in Rutherford County to stop working and relocate because of concerns over armed militia threatening government workers in the region. Same day, law enforcement officials confirmed Monday the sheriff's office arrested an armed suspect for making such threats. Now, This is sometimes the places where they'll kind of say we retracting it and it wasn't as hype as we was trying to make it. But they'll take something that kind of doesn't fit, but kind of could fit. So if I get into an argument with a FEMA worker again because they're trash and I happen to be armed and I get arrested, now that fits the story. Media, most effective devil in America. But let's read some more. On Monday, confirmed in a statement, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office confirmed in a statement that it had arrested William Jacob Parsons, 44, of Bostic, North Carolina, on charges of making threats against Federal Emergency Management Agency employees. The sheriff's office concluded that the suspect had acted alone and that there were not, quote, truckloads of militia targeting relief workers, it added. Around 1 p.m., an official with the U.S. Forest Service, which is supporting recovery efforts after Hurricane Helene, along with FEMA, sent an urgent message to numerous federal agencies, warning that FEMA has advised all federal responders to stand down and evacuate. The message, obtained by the Washington Post, stated the National Guard troops had come across trucks of armed militia saying they were out hunting FEMA. So you dudes went from trucks and it's the worst thing and we got to do all of this and da-da-da-da to, oh, it's one dude. But let's read some more. The IMT's incident management teams have been notified and are coordinating the evacuation of all assigned personnel in that county. Yada, yada, yada. Here it comes. Here it comes. And this how we was tying Trump in. We was tying censoring social media in. Now we got to tie guns in and gun owners. Here we go. Confirmed in a statement that the county's communications center had received the call Saturday shortly before 1 p.m. warning that, quote, a white male had an assault rifle and made the comment about possibly harming, listen to this, made the comment about possibly harming FEMA employees working after the disaster of Hurricane Helene. After learning of the call, deputies in the sheriff's office alerted other law enforcement agencies and others helping with relief efforts and went to where the threat was made. The statement said and identified the color and type of vehicle that the suspect was driving. After getting additional information, the sheriff's office identified the suspect as Parsons, arrested him, and charged him with going armed to the terror of the public. Cap, boys and girls. He was armed with a handgun and a rifle, it added. So, while the initial report said there was a truckload of militia that was involved, the statement said, authorities said they concluded it was determined that Parsons acted alone and there was no truckloads of militia going to Lake Lurie. Yada, yada, yada. The setback is one of the latest examples of growing concerns about safety and security in Western North Carolina, where many towns were almost wiped off the map. Yada, yada, yada. Again, we're talking about all of this other shit. Some of the claims have been amplified by former President Donald Trump as he seeks to return to the White House. Trump alleged without evidence, like y'all did without evidence. Y'all said it was truckloads. Y'all reported on this. Trump alleged without evidence that the federal government was going out of their way to not help people in Republican areas and repeatedly claimed that FEMA was diverting disaster relief money for migrants. They did. Administration officials and other Republicans have refuted the allegation, noting that money for hurricane recovery and aid for migrants sit in different agency accounts and cannot be transferred. Guys, I gotta even get the fuck out of this, guys. Listen, I don't care if y'all believe me. I don't care. I don't need you to believe me. I want you to believe in yourself, believe in your hard work ethic, believe in your faith, believe in your value system. But I don't want y'all to believe the media. I just don't. I want you to actually walk into it with a big question mark, like an ID, like question mark, right? Like a badge. What threat? Has there been any comment from Parsons? Did any of the journalists or the journalist, whoever, at the Washington Post say, let's get a statement from the guy? See, then if you're not connecting these dots, this is why we do Solutionary Monday through Friday. Because, as I said earlier, what'll start to happen is another news story will come and it'll look like it's not connected. Nobody's going to be talking about Hawaii. Nobody's talking about the fact that The Rock and Oprah wanted you to donate money, but she just gave Kamala $20 million towards her campaign. See, they benefit from us not being consistent and tying the shoelaces together and trip them up. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to support our work that you can see and prove. I want you to tap in every day. So when we put together these stories and when we common sense bound together to evaluate things and go, that don't make sense. Look at what tactical precision training just said. How do you possibly make a threat? It's either you did or you didn't. How? Like, what do you mean? He might have possibly made a threat. Did he or did he not? If he didn't, then why are you charging him? Oh, he might have had a handgun and what are you talking about? But see, the media can get on here and just say things. We did an article last week about Bill Cosby, and Janice Dickinson used to be on America's Top Model back in the day, just said he did something and alluded and just was wrong and lied and then got held to the fire and had to admit it. The media is doing the same thing. So I don't want y'all to believe me. I want you to cross check and fact check every single thing that we say on Solutionary. Boom. Bookworm just said, imagine how many millions of people a month from now will still believe armed militias were riding around threatening FEMA workers. The propaganda has already been planted. And if we're not here to tie these two stories in together, this is the same rag. The same rag. And they was like, oh, first they was, yeah, it was truckloads of them. It was truckload, yeah. And it's Trump's fault and Elon, and we need to censor. And that he had an assault rifle. They package all of the boogeymen that they want you to be afraid of because they want control over you. And we've already saw the Twitter files, the meta files. All through, since they wanted to go back to 2020, all through 2020, we've saw them hijack and coerce and bully social media platforms because social media platforms, conversations like this, media outlets and podcasts of long form conversation break the narrative. And when you have folks like myself and others that are willing to connect these dots and then articulate them to y'all, the reason why this is very, very powerful is because they can't pull the wool over the eyes of a solutionary at this point. It just can't happen. There's nobody. We got 50 people watching on YouTube. Let's get them likes up. So if you're watching on youtube.com, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Everybody hit the like button. Nobody's donating towards the Give, Send, Go. Nobody's doing the super chats. That's okay, guys. Support the work later. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. But my point here, guys, is we need to keep making this type of content. That's the reason why they kicked me off X. It's the reason why they kicked me off Instagram a few times. Because the reality is they don't want people talking about truth in a way that's relatable and makes common sense. So they'll say things like, well, we just need common sense gun laws. They'll purposely repurpose the phrasing for their benefit, not yours, because you want to. It makes sense to want to trust a platform that has the ability to communicate. They're supposed to have journalistic integrity, but they don't. This is the same outlet. And this outlet just told you one thing and then completely told you another. I made a post about that this morning from the airport in Columbus, Ohio. Watch it on Instagram. Big Daddy 2 Ray is my name on Instagram. Follow me there. Right? Talked about they on the news saying this dangerous rhetoric. This dangerous rhetoric. That's not your job to tell me what's dangerous. It's my job to evaluate what's happening, and words are not dangerous. No. Danger is the firearm right there handled irresponsibly. Danger is somebody attempting. What's actually dangerous is the way that you would utilize media skillfully to misinform the people while pretending like the other people are doing the misinformation. Mike Trenton with the first super chat. Mike says journalism was on life support and then Dan Rather killed it. Ouch. Ouch. I'll go one more. I'll go before Dan Rather. I'll go Edward Bernays. Dark Smidius with the super chat, $9. Appreciate you there, Darth. Appreciate you too, Mike. Y'all, this is the reason why we got to get this, man. Listen, I want to talk to y'all every day. I want y'all to be in the Solutionary 9 group. I want y'all to help us fund the work. We need help. We need help. I want y'all to make sure that this week, I want 1,000 people this week. We got November coming up. We got December coming up. We're trying to do Texas. We're trying to do California. Where the people, they are. How many people in the chat, by a show of hands? Just give me your honest opinion, guys. How many people in the chat genuinely feel like they're going to let it be a fair and free election? Just be perfectly honest. Okay? And if it's not, tell me if you think it is or it's not. If it's not, do you think that people are going to be upset regardless of who wins or loses? Brandy says, hell no. Okay? So if that's the case, right? We need to make sure that the people that wherever you land on the political side of things, you need to make sure that you have the means to defend yourself. The fact that so many people in the chat right now are saying, no, I don't think that it's going to be free and fair, tells you that the government has too much power when we know that it's not right. And it's obvious. It's super obvious, guys. Nobody's showing up to them fucking Harris. Like, come on, bro. Nobody. Trump is looking like Obama in 2012 with the turnout. Stadiums. It's like making me think that 88 million people wanted Biden in over Trump. Like, come on, bro. And again, like we said last week, this is about not being demoralized. We're going to keep fighting, but we need the help, guys. And this is why I'm going to ask everybody this week. We're trying to raise $20,000 in 1 week. Whenever you see this, and that's all I'm going to be talking about all week. Yes, you guys can get access to all 3 of the classes, Solutionary non-Telegram group, workout, drop fire drill, civics classes. Yes, that's the $100 donors, or just sign up at Solutionary University and be a one-time fee of $99. Cool, that's no doubt. Everybody does not have $100 right now. If you do, please, we'd love the work. Because if you donate at the $100 level, that's you with all of the classes, and I can get 2 students in an in-person class within that $100. So that $100 isn't effectively, if you were doing it online, I can get 3 students out of that. So if you got 100, please, we need 1,800 more $100 donors, right? To end the fundraising. But this week, to keep this content going, to keep like talking, we have to not be quiet. We have to be loud. Dr. Martin Luther King said there comes a time where silence becomes betrayal. Okay? We can no longer be the silent majority. We got to be communicating about it. We have to have action item lists. We have to commune with each other. We have to have a community with each other. That's what this is about. So we can go, I didn't think about that. I know what my skill set is, translation. Tying things together. Being what the journalists over at the Washington Post are supposed to be. This is very, very important, Solutionaries. And we need everybody on board. Anyway, guys, I think that's a cool way to land tonight. Everybody, that link right under me, givesengo.com/solutionary. If you're watching this now, later, you see it on rumble.com/Maj2Ray, youtube.com/Maj2Ray. Support the work. Phoenix was last week. Amazing classes, free to all because of your voluntary support. We got Baton Rouge, we got Cleveland, we got St. Louis, and we just got Newark, New Jersey, all for October. We got a lot of work coming up, and we need all of the support that we can get. So when you see this, everybody, I'm asking you all, if you donated before, cool. I'm asking you to donate again. I'm Bernie Sanders. I am once again asking you, but there's an actual outcome for what you see with the work and support that you're doing. Huge shouts to everybody that came out to Chicago. Huge shouts to, again, the NSSF. I want everybody to go over to gunvote.org. Look at that website, okay? Simply Deep every week with the women questions. Do you think a woman or your woman can go overboard seducing you? I don't give a damn about that, bruh. We facing World War III. Bruh, what seduce? People trying to seduce money for groceries out this joint. People trying to learn firearms training. Man, I don't think about that. Gunvote.org. Bookworm just put it in the chat. Gunvote.org. Everybody go check out that site. Tell them I sent you. The NSSF has been very supportive of all of our October classes. But November and December is up to us, guys. November and December is up to us. It's very, very important. Okay? It's very important. November and December is up to us. We need 1,000 folks at the $20 level. It's very important, Solutionaries. We don't get to do this work because we get insider trading like Nancy Pelosi. We get to do this work because of the voluntary donations for everybody. So I want everybody right after the stream to make sure that you go over to givesingo.com/solutionary, donate $20. Let's look at the numbers. It's about 440 something odd people in here right now, close to 450. Imagine if all 450 of you just donated $20. Just think about that. Okay? Very important. Anyway, guys, see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, but whatever it is, pop culture, politics, whatever it is, bread and circuses, we as Solutionaries are going to make it the solution. My name is Maj Toure. I will see you all tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Be safe. Be solutionary.